Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dream Career Talkshow. Today's episode is a special one. If you see, even the setup is special, right? Because we have seen a lot of online sessions of Dream Career Talkshow, but this episode is going to be offline and with a very special person you see right in front of me, and that is none other than Digital Deepak, who has become a synonym for digital marketing. Digital Deepak needs no introduction, but just to let you all know about Digital Deepak, he has been one of the man who is known in the digital marketing industry. He is the CEO and co-founder of Pixel Track and also today learntoday.com, and he's also a TEDx speaker and author of book Edge of Sanity. Deepak, it's an honor to actually interview today on Dream Career Talk Show. So thank you and welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. Excited to do this.
Same here. Right? And how did you start this journey? Today we call everyone calls you Digital Deepak, and you have become a synonym for digital marketing. So how did you start this journey, and when did this start?
So I started my career in 2008. I graduated from civil engineering, but I got a job offer from an IT company, and I did not want to go and get into coding or development because that was not my forte. So I started a motorcycle blog called bikeadvice.in. And this motorcycle blog was my passion because motorcycle is my passion. And I started reviewing all the motorcycles out in the market, like Bajaj Pulsar, Hero Honda. And we did not have any super bikes at that time. It was just these 150cc motorcycles. And hardly 5% of India was on the internet at that time in 2008. I started with a dial-up connection and then upgraded to a 256 kbps, and it was called broadband at that time. But I learned WordPress from a course. I joined a course called Blogging Mastermind at that time by a guy called Yaros Tarak in Australia. It was a $300 course. I got my dad's credit card and told him to let me spend on it. And it was only like 12,000, 13,000 at that time. Now $300 is much more valuable. But it helped me get started with WordPress, SEO, hosting and everything. And I started publishing articles. 6 months down the line, the blog was making around 20,000 a month from Google AdSense. And I kept reinvesting that back into more content, more content. By 2011, 2012, it was getting 1 million page views a month. 2012 May, I got an offer for $25,000 to buy the blog. It was not a very big exit, but I sold the blog anyway because I wanted to move on to other things. And I found some limitation in that business model. Nowadays, a lot of YouTubers keep posting things on YouTube and they try to make money from Google AdSense, which is Google Ads. And it doesn't really pay them that much, right? Like you need a funnel, you need products that you can sell to your audience and everything. So that way, when I started, I did not know all this, but 2012 May, it was clear that the blog is getting 1 million page views a month, but AdSense revenue was only $2,000 to $3,000. So I sold the blog, moved from Salem to Bangalore, joined a job, and I started digitaldeepak.com just as an addition to my resume so that I could write about digital marketing. Since I knew how to set up a blog, I just registered the domain name. It was not a premium domain name or anything. And I published like one article every week. And from 2013 to 2017, I kept working in different organizations and I kept publishing 2-3 articles a month on the blog. So that is how digitaldeepak.com started. And then I started selling some courses. Then I started an agency. 2017, I was an entrepreneur again. And that is how the entire journey, came through.
Interesting journey. And 2013 to 2017, you moved into job. And you actually sold your blog and then you got into this.
Yeah.
Like what was the reason you actually got back into job after getting some success in what you were doing?
Because first of all, I could brand myself as a digital marketer and say that I know digital marketing. And at that time, digital marketing was a very new term that was coming into the market. And people were looking for, hey, we are looking for SEO experts and everything. So I got a job with a good salary. It paid me like more than 1 lakh a month back in 2013, even without having any job experience previously. That's because I was running the Bike Advice blog. So showing that performance, I was able to get the job. But I am always like trying to understand how big companies work, how startups work, how do they get clients, how much money do they make, what is the operations, how is the hiring. So that was the reason for getting into a job. And that was purely for learning purposes. And because it was for learning purpose, my job history was very bumpy. First job I was there for 10 months. Second job I was 6 months. Third job was 8 months. Fourth job, I think at Razorpay, I managed to complete 1 year. And then I figured out that it was time to start on my own. So I understood a lot about what not to do rather than what to do working in all these organizations. And I felt like that was my MBA types, working in these startups and seeing how they operate, how funding works, how branding works, and all that. So that's why I got into jobs.
Great. I think that is how you collected the information and also the experience about how the corporates work.
Yeah.
And then after that, 2017, you got into entrepreneurship. What inspired you to get into entrepreneurship again? Like,
it was not like getting inspired to get into entrepreneurship. It's the only thing I know how to do. I get very depressed if I go and sit inside a company. And for some people it works. Yes, we have people who are working for us who are very happy and they are very clear. I don't want to try starting something of my own. I want like a stable job which pays well and everything. But for me, I was technically unemployable. In every job I was there, people had concerns about my productivity. I was just not able to motivate myself to work just for that month's income. If I just have to survive, I can survive in 10,000 a month also. I could go to like a tier 2 city and just survive. So if I am working day in and day out, I want to build something big. It has to get into something big and the work has to compound. So I knew that you can create intellectual property, blog, email list and everything, and things will compound over time. So if I'm working for, let's say, 4 to 5 hours productive in a day, the same thing I want to work for probably 20 years, 30 years, but the amount of value I extract from that 4 to 5 hours should keep compounding. And that was like pretty much impossible in a job. So I was not taking the job seriously.
and you already had some POC because you said during when you were in job, you were still creating some blogs, you were still writing content. So were you like still building certain proof of concepts during that time period?
I was building Digital Deepak, and before I quit my Razorpay job, I launched my first Google Ads course on digitaldeepak.com. And I was continuously postponing actually creating the course and making money from it. But I had started building an email list on Digital Deepak. So email list had 25,000 subscribers organically and a little bit from Facebook ads also. I was taking some 10-20,000 from my salary and putting it on Facebook ads for lead generation at that time. Wow. Because I knew that the list will always help me. And I kept thinking I should launch a course, kept postponing. And one day I woke up and I figured out that I will never do this. So let me create an outline. Let me send it to my email list and ask them to pre-order the course. So I said the course cost is 2,000 rupees, but you can pre-order for 999. And I was thinking that no matter how much confident you are, you still have to see the sales to feel confident. Right. So I was like, if I don't even get 50 sales, I will refund everyone and cancel the project. If I get at least 50 sales, then I will go ahead and complete the project. So that was the idea. So I launched it to my email list. There was no sales page, no sales email, nothing. There was just an outline of the course. And the outline of the course had 10 lessons outlined in it, saying that I will create these 10 lessons and deliver it to you. No learning management system, nothing. Sent few emails to my email list, one week launch period. And towards the end of the week, I said, today is the last day to book this. And I ended up making 250 sales. So 2.5 lakh came in. And I did not take that 2.5 lakh to pay myself or anything because job salary was enough to cover my expenses. And I completed the course, delivered it on YouTube unlisted videos. And then I took that 2.5 lakh, put it back into list building. I had a free lead magnet called Free Digital Marketing Course. It had 25 videos, high level overview on all digital marketing stuff. How to do Google ads, how to do Facebook ads and everything. So I took that 2.5 lakhs, put it back into ads, built my email list, another 20,000 subscribers, did another launch, made 4 lakh in revenue. Then launched an SEO course, made 8 lakh in revenue. Then launched a blogging course, made 20 lakh in revenue. And then instead of continuously doing that, I took that 20 lakhs and I started an agency because I always wanted to start an agency. Right. And I ended up doing a lot of mistakes with hiring. That was the first time I started hiring people. So I did the mistake of hiring friends, people I thought will add value to the company. They did not really were focused. And that kind of stagnated my business for a while, for a few years, 2-3 years. But I did a lot of agency work, worked with a lot of clients to understand how this works. Because I felt like unless I do digital marketing for agencies, as an agency, I won't be eligible to teach digital marketing. So that is something I believe in a lot. A lot of people will read a digital marketing course, learn from it and create their own digital marketing course. that is not proper, to be honest, because you can only practice what you preach and preach what you practice. I mean, you should practice what you preach, right? So the agency definitely helped in getting a lot of credibility. Until today, this is the agency office where we are sitting in. We have some big name clients right now, and having gone through that grunt work of trying out the agency definitely paid off in other ways. But I've always believed in compounding the email list, and that is how the journey turned out. And today we have 500,000 active email subscribers.
Wow.
And we don't even do any paid ads right now. We will be starting again, but for 6 months we have given a break, because through the email list and the trust that I have built through the email list itself, we are able to generate revenue.
Amazing. That's very inspiring journey, and the way you have built that email list and the kind of followers that you have built today. But going back again, when you started your journey, like what kind of skills were you acquiring? Like you were doing blogging, right, and you were doing email marketing. How did you learn these skills? From where did you learn? Because a lot of people, they get started, but they don't know actually what is the right path and the structure to follow.
Yeah. So one thing that I have learned early on is that anything that you learn new, it will put you in a lot of discomfort, and people constantly try to avoid that discomfort.
Right.
So my simple way of learning is to, okay, let's set up Google Ads. I would go to Google Ads, sign up for an account, and then basically stare at the screen not knowing what to do next. It's extremely anxiety inducing and uncomfortable to do it. But then I will figure out the steps one step at a time. Okay, now set up the payment. Now create a search ad. Now create a display ad. Create a YouTube ad. And here and there I would search from YouTube, and if there are some other courses, I would consume those courses, read some books. And I believe that learning process is very much like you just connect the dots, and there is no proper way where to start connecting the dots. Like when we were kids, we would have played connecting the dots, where there are like a lot of dots and you have to like start connecting,
Right.
and then it will like create an image. But it doesn't matter where you start. You can randomly just go to Google and search for something and start learning from there. That is how I learned about crypto also. Till today, there is no crypto course, proper course to learn crypto. But how are people learning so much about crypto? Just search for Bitcoin, how Bitcoin works. Search top 10 books about Bitcoin. Take a book. And books also, I don't read like 100% of the book that I purchase. Whenever I purchase a book, I first read 10%. Then I purchase another book, I read 10%. Then purchase another book, I read 10%.
Interesting.
Whichever books pulls me in, okay, I need to read more of this. This is so interesting. Then I read more of it. So a lot of people get very uncomfortable with this chaotic learning process. But I think that is what has helped me a lot. Wherever I could grasp some information, I would keep trying to grasp it. Like even we were talking about different business models.
Right.
We were talking about some other brands and everything. And I immediately started like inquiring. What does he do? How much does he sell for? How does his program work? And I keep like absorbing information like that. And that's a continuous process. 10 years down the line, I might be absorbing information about a different level. With lead generation, funnel setup and everything, I feel like I've almost hit a saturation point, still not everything, but the framework is like well in place. So it takes years of understanding something in a way, like the way you understand a city. Like let's say you move to a new city. Let's say you go to Mumbai. You don't know anything about anything. Then you go to some malls, you go to some market, you find out different residential areas. And then within 6 months, you are like pretty well versed with the city. Like for example, Bangalore, you know that there is Silk Board, and then Hebal, and then airport is there, Banashankari is here, and Koramangala is here. You get a pretty clear idea about Bangalore once you stay in Bangalore for a few years. How do you learn about it? There is no start or finish point to it. You just keep absorbing information, and over time you end up knowing well enough about a city that, tomorrow if like I know Pune a little bit well, but if I go to Pune, that anxiety is not there. Pune I know. I can go there, do a meeting, stay there for a month if I want to. I know Delhi pretty well. I have traveled around in metro and everything. I don't know Kolkata very well. So even today, if I have to go to Kolkata, there is that low-grade anxiety. I don't know that city so much. So you have to put yourself through that process to get comfortable, and then you keep soaking more information. So that is my method. I don't think there is a name to this method. This is what has worked for me. I've experimented with a bunch of things, but that's what I recommend people also to follow.
Right. So you experimented and you have been recommending this
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
But what if you met the older version of Digital Deepak, right? The one who explored, the one who actually went on internet, went through books and all. Today, if you have to advise that older version of Digital Deepak to build his brand and also to build something of this sort, what would your recommendation be?
That would mean that I would divert from the core topic, but I think I wouldn't mind saying that, but I think men should not get married before 30 because that just takes away a lot of time, right? And what the society expects from you and what you want for yourself will always be at odds. You have certain priorities, but once you get into the clutches of the society, then the priorities of the society will kind of start dominating, right? So the society rebels against you and you rebel against the society. So I would not necessarily comment about women yet because I can only talk from my own experience. But at least for men, the students that I have mentored, the friends that I have seen, I feel like 20 to 30 is a career building phase. There should not be any other responsibilities, household responsibilities. You should be able to move from one city to another without any restriction. You should be able to quit a job without somebody getting panicked that, hey, what will you do for income? Right. You should be able to take that risk. So I think risk-taking ability was massively reduced at that time. And if I had continued on my path being single for a very long time, then I think by now I would have made much more career progress. And after 30, I think it's easier to get your priorities straight and focus on yourself because the world always says that, hey, you should like please everyone and please everyone's needs. Right. It takes a lot of maturity to put yourself as the number one priority. And that is very much needed for entrepreneurship and career growth. So I think 20 to 30 is an age of experimentation. There is no right or wrong thing to do. And every 10 years, the world is changing completely. Right. So what I know right now, that advice might not fit for my 20-year-old self. But just have so much free time, maneuverability, freedom, and don't yield to society's expectations. So that would be the advice that I would give to my younger self.
I think that's a wonderful advice for people who are watching us as well, right? Somebody building their brand, building their business. Yes, getting through that society norms and then the conditioning, the way people have been operating, rather than just follow the crowd. Follow your heart, do something that you are passionate about, right? Build something, build a brand.
And you need freedom to follow your heart. And you need like plenty of free time. Like Saturday, Sunday, okay, some days you hang out with boys, have a party, go somewhere. Some Saturday, Sunday, you will not have anything. But you might feel lonely in the beginning, but that soon will start becoming like very enriching, that alone time. Go take a walk in the park, sit there, just observe people and just randomly think about something. You have to keep thinking about your career. Like, Paul Graham from Y Combinator talks about this top thing on your mind. So if you are going to the shower, that's the only place where we have some low anxiety. Right. Because outside the shower, everybody is watching you all the time. Everybody is witnessing you. Why do you feel so relaxed once you get into the bathroom? Because nobody is watching you, right? So what if you can be like that even in the outside world? You move to a new city, you are all alone, you are 25. Yes, maybe you are yet to make friends, yet to maybe, having girlfriends is fine, but like living in together or getting married becomes like so much of an obligation, right? So when you do that, and like, when you go into the shower and turn on the shower, the mind is blank for a time. And you have to observe what thoughts start getting your mental space. That ends up getting the most benefit. If you are worried about somebody told you something is demanded out of you, something you have to complete within a time, then you are not thinking about, hey, how can I build my career? How can I build my startup? What ideas I can generate? You don't have mental space to think about it at all. So if you create that mental space consciously, so now I am like so clear about my priorities that at least like morning after I wake up until my breakfast, I try to spend time alone. Yeah, so that way, now I'm able to protect my time. And as you get mature, I think it becomes easier to develop that mental toughness that you wake up at 5 a.m. every day. And until like 5 to 8 a.m., nobody can disturb you. So even though now, like, family obligations, priorities, other people are all there, I have that maturity to still protect my time and mental space. So that blank canvas is required for you to do something creative. And most of the people can't do anything creative, not because they are not creative people. Creativity is there in everyone. They can't do anything because they have joined a job, got married, have kids, have to wake up, drop the kids at school, in-laws, obligations, all those things. And they don't have enough willpower and discipline to protect their own time and space where that creativity can, take roots. There is no fertile ground for creativity. So this is not being talked about a lot. Some people think that, hey, I'm not a creative person. Oh, look at this person. He's so creative. He's coming up with new business ideas. He's doing something new. He's writing blog posts, videos. All that needs creativity. That needs mental space. Without that mental space, you can't do anything. So if people learn how to protect their time, mental space, obligations, and learn to prioritize themselves, I think the business success and career success will become a natural eventuality out of it. You don't need to do something specific. Just protect your time and protect yourself from obligations. So yeah, that would be my advice for people in their 20s.
Right, great. And today, if you see a lot of professionals, right, somebody like a student or also somebody who is a corporate professional, they see digital marketing in a different way. They see it as a fast way of making money. They see it as a passive income source, right? So what do you recommend for these people? And what are the biggest myths you have seen coaching a lot of people in digital marketing?
See, digital marketing is not a skill like civil engineering, architect, or even lawyer or doctor. A lot of people think that digital marketing is just one more career path. That, hey, instead of choosing all this, I could to choose digital marketing. But is English a career path like that? Definitely not. If you know English, you know communication. What is English or language skills? You have something in your mind and you can put that into other people's minds. That's pretty much what communication is.
Right.
So I would consider digital marketing as English 2.0 or communication 2.0, because digital marketing is not about communicating the thoughts that you have in your mind, but learning how to amplify that communication. So 10,000 years back, let's say there was a village and there was a tribal leader and there were 500 people in the village. That's pretty much how crowds were organized. This person can stand on top of a rock and talk to like 400, 500 people, shout at the top of his voice and try to communicate what he has in his mind to all those people. Today, or let's say, let's say 200 years back, people could address 1,000, 2,000 people at the same time. What is a technology? It's a microphone and a loudspeaker. You speak into the microphone and it amplifies your voice. Right. But at the same time, people had to be at the same space and they had to be at the same time to listen to someone. And even now, political rallies and everything, people gather a bunch of people and talk to them in a mic. So digital marketing has evolved, technology has come in, starting from radio and then starting from newspapers, print, and then radio, and then TV, and then increasing resolutions and bandwidth over a period of time. Technology has enabled us to amplify our communication. So anybody who is doing anything, he could be a politician, he could be a non-profit activist, he could be running some organization to impact some change, or basically he wants to share what he has in his mind to the world in a way that it reaches a lot of people. That is digital marketing, right? So what do? I run Facebook ads, I generate leads, I send out emails, to get people to a webinar. So today I can send out an email and tonight at 9 o'clock I could address 300 to 500 people on a webinar. What gives me that power? So that is the art of digital marketing. So if you learn digital marketing, you will be successful at anything you do. Obviously you can start a digital marketing agency or get a digital marketing job, or you can become a trainer, you can do an affiliate marketing. All those are the usual suspects of how do you instantly start making money with digital marketing. But it is a skill where people can market themselves to get a job also, right? I use digital marketing on my blog to get better jobs. I communicated with people, sent out email, and then, that is what digital marketing is for me. It's about amplifying your communication and putting yourself digitally. Like Digital Deepak is not about digital marketing. Digital Deepak is about digitizing Deepak, right? So right now, I'm talking to you in this podcast right now, but there is someone at some place who is watching one of my videos right now. Right. So I'm not talking to them. The digital version of Deepak is talking to them, right? So automation is coming in a lot of places. Self-driving cars is an automation. You don't need a driver to drive the car. The car will drive itself. Automation when it comes to thought leadership is that a computer will not communicate to them, but computer will amplify your communication. It still has to be you because people like to listen from people. So everybody should learn digital marketing. That's what I believe. So my target market is pretty much everybody who knows English is my target market to teach them digital marketing.
Great. And I think all organizations also from past few years, they have been talking about digitization.
Yes.
So that's where everyone is moving. But for you, you have built a huge email following list.
Yeah.
Right. So how did you understand about the power of emails, and then how did you start building this? And today, like, how far have you reached in terms of email marketing?
Yeah. One of the reasons that I focus so much on email marketing is because I have been using social media since the days of Orkut. I was promoting affiliate links inside Orkut groups, or rather, I would say spamming affiliate links inside Orkut groups to make money. That's how I started. Then I saw Orkut die. Then there was something called Foursquare. Foursquare died. Then there was something, called Google Plus. I mean, everybody knows Google Plus now, but that also died. And one day Facebook will die, or YouTube will die. TikTok was there, it died. So there is no point in building a social following. And a lot of people who still have like 1 million followers on YouTube, sab bache log hai. They don't understand that one day YouTube will also screw them. They will screw their reach. It's already happening. Email existed even before World Wide Web existed. The first communication between two computers was an email sent from one computer to another computer. Then you had HTTPS protocol, then you had World Wide Web, and these websites and everything, apps. App is again inside the iOS ecosystem and everything, but email is like the foundation of everything. Like, do you think phone numbers will go away? No. No technology is going to replace phone numbers. It's like network effects has penetrated so much. Everybody uses a phone number for calls. If you want to receive text-based communication, people will use email, continue to use email. There will be an identity for them. They won't replace it with a username suddenly, right? UPI did help you like convert your phone number into your bank account, because that was not efficient to remember bank account numbers all the time. But emails are not going anywhere. That is a primary way. Like, even if you have to sign up for Instagram or YouTube, you still have to sign up using your email ID.
Right.
So somebody signs up on YouTube using their email ID, they are YouTube's user. They can follow your channel, subscribe to your channel. Still, they are not your user, because if you post a new video, YouTube decides whether to push that video to them or not. But if you send an email, it might land on spam. Yes. Gmail might filter it out into different folders. Yes. But no email service provider can say, I'm not delivering this email. They have to deliver the email. Right. That is a protocol. That protocol nobody will destroy. It should not be and cannot be. So I found out long back that if you need a lot of people to follow you, and if you need to connect with a lot of people, you need their email IDs and phone numbers. And email IDs is primary for my business, at least. I don't use phone numbers so much. But nowadays we have started collecting phone numbers also, especially from customers and everything. So this was too obvious for me. And anybody who sits and thinks about it for like 15 minutes, they'll like realize, boss, email kind of sits at the top of everything. Right. But nobody thinks, no. Everybody is just getting carried over. If you have like a phone, immediately you want to browse Instagram, scroll over the feed. Sit and think. So that made it very obvious for me, and obviously I learned it from some podcasts. Everybody was like, build an email list. So I have built an email list by basically using lead magnets. I would ask people to subscribe for a lead magnet and then deliver that content to them via email. And when I do that, they get value, which means that they will open more of my emails in the future. Email is also about sending text communication, not like sending images. There are other websites are for images and graphics. YouTube is for video. Don't send images on email. And people don't know how to do email marketing, especially organizations. They have a term for it called EDM, electronic direct mailer, because direct mail was sent with printed ones, sent on postcards and everything. And then email, they call it electronic direct mailer. Nobody cares. Like if you hear from a friend, your friend is not sending an HTML email. He is sending a plain text email. So I've always stuck to plain text emails. I've always stuck to building my email list over a period of time. And whatever profits I have made in my business, I have always reinvested back into my email list to grow my email list. So generated more than 2 million leads till date so far in my business. It will also have a churn rate. Some people will unsubscribe. Some people will become inactive. And then it has boiled down to like around 4.5 lakh active subscribers right now, which is like the biggest asset that I have in my business right now. But it's not like somebody could steal this asset and the asset won't be mine. I have multiple backups of it. It's basically a 5 MB CSV file which has all these contacts. And that becomes the asset. I could go to any country, English speaking country. You drop me anywhere in the world. I would like fetch this CSV file, put it into a CRM, mail my subscribers, and I can survive by sending a product promotion to them or something. So that way, when you look at the contacts, it's not just the contacts that is an asset, it's the relationship that you have with these contacts. You could take the same email list, mail, and nobody will bother because they don't know you. But these people know me. I've added value to them, nurtured them, sent content on email, invited them to webinars, invited them to offline meetups, spoken to them. People know me, they recognize me, they trust me. That is the asset, actual asset. But it is stored in the format of the email list, so that I have a way to reach out to them. So this is too obvious for me, and I fail to understand why this is not too obvious for a lot of people, especially YouTubers who are completely kind of high on their YouTube subscribers, and they continuously try to push more and more YouTube videos, and they're not building an email list. And I have tried contacting a lot of high profile YouTubers, try to tell them and make them convinced that, hey, you should build an email list. I don't think they will realize until they start seeing their YouTube reach go down, which it will, because more and more users on YouTube, each user subscribing to more and more channels, it's going to get diluted. Right. YouTube will restrict your reach. Like, I have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, 118,000 subscribers. And if I post a video, it will hardly get 1,000 views if I don't promote it to my email list. Mm-hmm. Right? Tomorrow it might get 500 views, no doubt about it. And YouTube also tries to make the thumbnails, like, if you put like a shocking thumbnail, then it gets more reach. Right. So YouTube is incentivizing you to make it more like snacky content. It's like healthy meals versus junk food. Junk food always feels like more attractive to you. YouTube has become like that. YouTube is becoming TikTok. Instagram is becoming TikTok. Right. Lower attention spans, more shocking content. And algorithm is your boss then. YouTube's algorithm is your boss. Right. They are determining your reach based on how you post videos. So now you go and scroll YouTube, even decent YouTubers are like, they're always shocked about something, always surprised about something. That's what all YouTube thumbnails are looking like that, right? And I have restricted myself from doing that too much. I tried here and there. If I post a video, gets 2,000 views, I put a, like that one picture. That also, that gets like more views, yes. But I still try to not get too much drawn into it, because this will only go down a path where people will get bored of YouTube, right?
Right. Yeah, I think 4.5 lakh active subscribers itself is a huge asset. Yeah. And what you spoke is very powerful. I want to reiterate this. A lot of people who are building their brands, like coaches like me or anybody, you're giving the power to any other platform, like be it YouTube, LinkedIn or Facebook, right? I think we have to learn from the examples of TikTok or Orkut. Any platform can go. But if you think of what Digital Deepak is talking today, this can change the entire game for you. Emails are going to stay. I did not change my email ID for past 15 years now. Exactly. I've been using that. Yeah. Right? And I think if audience also look at that, they wouldn't have changed their email ID. So still email is going to be powerful, and you have the power in your hand rather than giving it to somebody else.
Yes. Future you can create your own platform if you want from your email list, and then attract people into your platform. Maybe attract creators into your platform. Yes. But people keep saying, oh, email is going to die. Email is going to die. So it's not going to die. It as stupid as saying phone numbers are going to die. It will be like, people are not going to stop using phone numbers and then call each other on Instagram handles. Yeah. Phone numbers are going to be there. So emails are going to be there. So build an email list.
Right. And you have been building your email list. You have been emailing people. I'm sure you would have heard from a lot of people, hey, emails are not there. Who is going to read the emails? Any such example you think of where people spoke about this and they later saw the results of how email can change the game for them?
So people who told me, like some agency clients who I tried to convince them to start building their own email list, their answer was, who reads emails anymore? And then I told them to subscribe to my email list. 2 months later, I opened that particular email ID in my CRM. They have opened every email of mine. And they are opening the emails. And why do they find it so difficult to believe that other people will open emails?
Right. And I think it's also about what Deepak mentioned. It's about you nurturing, you adding value. Right. You have been doing that very consistently. Just having an email list may not help if you're not nurturing that audience. Yeah. Right. I think that is also something that you have done. Yes. Right. And when you're talking about nurturing, how important is consistency in this particular game? Right, when you're talking about building your brand and also having these true followers who are going to stay active with you.
70% of the email should be value emails. 30% can be promotional. You need to send promotional emails because that's how you will make revenue. And you need that revenue to even maintain your CRM because CRMs cost a lot. 70% of the nurture emails sometimes it will be like an entire blog post, but within the email itself. Sometimes I would publish a blog post on my blog and send traffic to my blog post. Sometimes I will send traffic to a YouTube video. Sometimes I will invite people for a webinar, address the audience, record that webinar, and then put it on YouTube, and then send an email for people who missed the webinar. So my distribution system is still the email list. I would still like to host it on YouTube because YouTube video hosting is free and it might bring me some comments and some more new users out of it. But email becomes the central platform through which the distribution happens. So blog traffic comes from YouTube, blog traffic comes from email list, YouTube traffic comes from email list, social media followers come from email list. I have 45K followers on Instagram today. Wow. Everything was built through my email list. I was not an Instagram creator where I'm putting some reels all the time to increase followers on Instagram. I like using Instagram because it kind of brings a personal angle to the personal brand. Right. Like, what do I do in my life? Some vacation photos and things like that. I don't overdo it, but I do it here and there so that people search for it. They like to see what kind of person I am to build that trust factor. Otherwise, people will think that you are a ghost, you don't exist only. So you have to have a Facebook profile, you have to have an Instagram profile. But don't become an Instagram content creator or a YouTube content creator. Build your email list and then push it back to the social channels.
I think this is very powerful because any other platform comes in play as well. For you, it's going to be easy because you have your followers, you have your email list. Push them to a new platform.
Yeah.
So I think that is how they can build that.
So I think in my career, I have sent more than 1 billion emails so far.
Wow, 1 billion emails. That is the power of consistency because I think a lot of people, Deepak, I think this is also one of the biggest challenge. A lot of people start the game, right? Entrepreneurship. And after a few years, they give up. And we know the statistics as well. You have been very consistent, 1 billion emails, right? This is something which is huge. Right. So what is that advice you give for people? Because you have also written your book, right? Edge of Sanity, where you have spoken about your entrepreneurship journey, especially for somebody who is building their digital agencies, right? How do they actually do that step-by-step process and stay in the game?
So there is a book called Perennial Seller by Ryan Holiday. And that is what I have always believed in. And I was so happy to read that book to see a lot of my thoughts also kind of getting reiterated in that book. When you create content, make sure that that content is relevant even 10 years down the line. So I created a course called 100-day lead generation course. So each day you will get one lesson about lead generation. Those concepts are timeless. If I have to talk about a new tool about lead generation, I could put it on my blog and send an email to my email list. But the follow-up sequence that I build inside my email, so those content will be timeless. So when you are creating content, make sure that the content is useful even 5 years, 10 years down the line and it is relevant. So that way you are not going to have a creator burnout. A lot of people try to put a timeline to their content creation. So I keep saying this. A lot of creators ideally should be saying something because they have something to say, but they end up saying something because they have to say something.
Right.
Subtle difference, but makes a lot of difference.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
You are on YouTube and they commit themselves, I will post 3 videos in a week. And then, okay, this week I don't have anything to say. I will come up with something to say and they try to come up with some concept to say. This dilutes content creation a lot. So I create content only when I have significant something to say. I get a strong idea. Okay, let's talk about this to my audience. That's when I will send out the mail. So people who know me have not seen very consistent content publishing schedule. But whenever I send content, it's very, very relevant to them. And I only send if it is so relevant. But people also expect some level of consistency, especially in the beginning stages of the relationship. So what I do is that I created these 100-day sequences like courses where people subscribe and every day one lesson keeps delivering to them, like timeless content. Time-bound content, something that is latest, some news I have to talk about or something that I will put it on the blog or YouTube whenever there is something to say, not in a consistent publishing schedule. So ChatGPT came, I had to talk about it, changes content creation game a lot. So I sent an email to my list, talked about it, did a webinar about it, and people liked it. So that is the way of nurturing the people. One is through timeless content, which is created, delivered on sequence, on automation. So you don't need to do anything. It will keep delivering value. And when you have something to say, invite people for a webinar and talk to them, put it on YouTube, put it on your blog and nurture them. So if you keep doing this nurturing, then people develop a very strong relationship with you. It's called a parasocial relationship. They have a relationship with you, but you don't have a relationship with them. And they started with movies, celebrities, once TV came along, reality shows came along. That's how people build those brands. And in this day and age, it's easier to get attention as a personal brand than as a faceless brand. Right. So that's what I'm focusing on, building my personal brand as Digital Deepak, but not in the way that other social media celebrities would build. They have to, anyone has a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel plus, and if they stop posting videos for 6 months, nobody is going to consume their content. It's not the same case with me. I keep running lead generation ads every day. People keep opting into my lead magnets. And once they opt in, for 3 months, they are engaged with some content that is delivered on automation. And it is timeless content and content handcrafted, well crafted, very, very useful content for their business. I'm not in the entertainment space. I'm not entertaining them with the content. I'm giving them useful information. So yeah, this is what has worked for me, and this is what I would recommend people also to try. But except people should have the patience to build something long term, and then it will keep compounding and keep bringing you returns for a long time.
Right. I think entrepreneurship in itself is a long-term
Yes.
journey, right?
Yes.
It's not like a short stint that you are doing.
Yeah.
Right? And you have been through Alpha Club, right? You have been helping a lot of coaches and also digital agencies. One of the challenge with coaches is like they create content, right? But they when they actually try to scale up, right, or when they're going for selling, like they are getting caught in the game of Facebook ads, YouTube ads, and then they are burning their cash there, right? What is the step-by-step process that they can follow, right? And you can also talk about how Alpha Club is today helping these coaches so that they can build their brands and also avoid this cash burnout, right?
Yeah.
Because people put a lot of money there,
Yeah.
right? And they see there is no ROI coming from there.
So a lot of people try to run an ad for like a webinar. They might sell a webinar for 99 rupees. They might end up spending 500 rupees to get one registration for 99. And then they try to sell them something like a 10,000 rupee product. They might take back the money that they got. But what will happen is that eventually the lead cost is going to increase, registration cost is going to increase, and the margins might not be enough for them to continue doing what they are doing. So what most people do is that, let's say if 1% of the people convert from a free webinar or a 99 rupee webinar, whatever your first touch point is, they just ignore the rest 99%. They don't add any value. They don't like build trust with them or anything. So same thing, build a sequence of emails. It could be a 30-day course or a 100-day course, and get people subscribed to that and deliver value every day on email. And you are not doing it manually. You are setting it up on automation. And once people do that, if you get like, let's say 10,000 leads, let's say 100 people buy, why are you ignoring the 9,900 leads? Keep delivering value to them on automation, sometimes for free, by just doing a free webinar to them. And it's also called like a sideways sales letter. With every touch point, you are selling a little bit, building trust over a period of time. And we have had members in Alpha Club who joined our email list in 2018, and last week they converted. How is that happening? You said that 15 years you have not changed your primary email ID.
Right.
So slowly people will start trusting you more. And having that long-term vision is the only way that you are going to beat the competition and beat everyone who is trying to make money in the short term. Because this ad burn will only keep increasing. So for me, the LTV is very high. I can generate one lead today, keep nurturing them for 5 years. 5 years ke baad they might convert. And because they converted after 5 years, like which has happened now, 2017, 2018 people joined, now they are converting. It's like pretty much like zero acquisition cost for me. And I can take this money and generate leads and wait for another 3 or 5 years for that lead to convert also. Like most of the leads will convert short term itself. That itself will get back my ad spend. But LTV I can increase because I keep nurturing them for a long time. So only if you have that 3-5 year term minimum long-term vision, you can make money. And same as crypto stocks, you can't make money in the very short term. Like, trading karke, you can't make money. You can't make money in 6 months, 1 year. You can make money in 3 to 5 years and a lot of money. So leads should be thought of like that. Like, you buy Bitcoin now, wait for 10 years, 100% you will make money. You buy good blue chip stocks now, wait for 10 years, 100% you are going to make money. So if you generate a lead now, keep nurturing them for 10 years, 100% you are going to make way more money from the lead than your competition who is trying to make money from that lead next month.
Right.
So that is what I advise people in Alpha Club as well.
That's great. And I think, to be honest, I also burnt out a lot of cash when I started with my webinars, my workshops, because I did not really understand. And I think a lot of coaches do this mistake. They don't understand the process, the procedure or the structure, and they just keep on putting in that inorganic way. And whatever you are teaching is like a lifetime value of the customer that you are looking at always. Right? And you have coached so many people, you have built a huge email list, you have generated so much of revenue. But what keeps you grounded? Because I have met you, like I have known you for about 3 months now,
Okay.
not more.
Okay.
But then I have seen you and I see a lot of followers, they love you because of the person you are.
Okay.
What keeps you grounded? Is it spirituality? Is it something that you have gone through something in the past, through failure experiences? What is that keeps you grounded all the time?
I would like to ask more about how do you define being grounded? Does it mean that I come across as a humble person, or how would you exactly define grounded?
Grounded is, yes, of course, being a humble person, right? Because it's said, right, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how you treat people.
Okay.
Right, so the way you treat people, always
Okay.
like humble, right? Always trying to give that mutual respect for person, right? Not being that brand, or like, yes, of course you are a brand, but not showing it off in a way that people are like, okay, fine, I'm smaller and you are bigger. You
Okay.
always make them feel like equal, and that
Okay.
kind of mutual respect. And all.
So I think every person that I talk to definitely talks about this, about me. But it has definitely not come from a strategy of wanting to be humble and having the brand as a humble person, because the moment you do it, you can't be a humble person. You can't try to be humble.
Yeah.
Only when you stop trying to do anything at all, you become like humble, right? You don't like try to put across that image. So I can only say maybes, because I'm naturally like that. Maybe I've become like that. But one thing that I keep thinking about is that, like maybe 1,000 years down the line, no matter what I do, nobody will remember me, right? And people are always looking for, some level of identity, because without that identity, they feel kind of lost.
Right.
And especially for celebrities, politicians, a lot of personal brands, building that brand, they get drawn to that and they do a lot of what they are doing because it helps them build their identity, makes them an important person, makes them famous. That fame can lead to more money and everything. And they can't like drop everything one day and become a no one. They might feel very difficult to do that. But the reality is that thousands of famous people have lived across thousands of years, and they just went into ashes and nothing happened, and people forgot about it. Maybe a few names you have in your mind, okay, Alexander the Great hai, Albert Einstein hai, but so what? It doesn't matter to Albert Einstein or Alexander the Great.
Right.
So if asked a question like a thought experiment, would you like to be the dead Alexander the Great or an alive beggar? You will always choose an alive beggar, because what's the point of being dead Alexander the Great, right? You are dead. There is no point in that. So one thing that I feel is like all this is temporary, and everything will be taken away from us. Everything, like we are born from earth. What we are, the mind, the body, everything is made of food. The food that our mother ate, and then the food that we ate. Our body is made of food, and it comes from the earth, and the earth will absorb you back anyway.
Right.
So during this very short time on earth, on a cosmic scale, it's like a second, it's like a blip. And people try to keep so much of ego, of identity. Maybe they are trying to do it because they are like afraid to let go, and they are, but eventually the Grim Reaper is going to come to them, right? No matter what they build, they can try to leave some legacy, write a book, put some statue of themselves, have kids. That becomes a way of immortality, that okay, at least my kids are going to take forward my bloodline or something. But everything is going to be taken away from you much faster than you think, and it's going to come to you at a very unexpected time anyway.
Right.
So maybe I have read a little bit of Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, and a lot of such great thinkers who have thought about death a lot. And when you think about death, like okay, 1 week from now you are going to die. Oh, how will you spend this 1 week? I try to keep that as a priority, and that makes me more present to the day, to the moment, and everything. And everything that is built around it, let it come as it comes. But as soon as you try to get that sense of identity, then you will start losing yourself. So people try to create that immortality by trying to leave a legacy, by trying to build a statue, have kids and things like that. But that's because people are always trying to hold on to something, and their ego and identity becomes something to hold on. But your mind starts controlling you. You don't control the mind. The mind, like anything, is like a tool, like your legs. You use your legs when you have to move around. When you are sitting, you don't use your legs. But the mind is not like that. When the mind controls you, the mind is on all the time. And that is why a lot of people are not sharp and clear, because they are overusing their mind. They are not giving it any rest. So more mindfulness, I think, will definitely make you humble, and just enjoying the day and being more present. And that is, I think, the biggest thing that I have kind of cultivated in myself in the past 5 years. Just trying to be, more of, just being present.
Yeah.
So maybe that brings that
Closing.
humbleness across, and it looks like that I am grounded, but it was not a deliberate strategy to try to develop an identity as an humble person. Then you can't be humble, right? So yeah, maybe that, but still I can't answer it 100% accuracy because this was not a deliberate strategy for me. Yeah,
Are you a spiritual person?
I'm definitely not a religious person, and my definition of spirituality is just to enjoy life while you are here. So maybe by that definition, yes, I'm trying to be a spiritual person as much as I can be. But there are times where I also get angry. There are times where I also have that ego. I'm trying to reduce it as much as possible. So maybe if I try to bring it to as much as zero as possible, then maybe I'll become like an enlightened person. Maybe that's what enlightened means, but I don't know.
Thank you for being vulnerable. I think the message for everyone here is we see people on social media, we see people as brands, right? The way they are is for a reason, right? But when I have spoken to a lot of successful people, I think the main intent is to serve, right? And that's where I think the value that you have generated or the followers you build is because of that. And then money is the byproduct. If I
Yeah,
have to sum it
yeah.
up.
The intent is, rather than saying the intent is to serve, the intent is wanting to serve.
Wanting to serve.
Because that gives me pleasure, that gives me enjoyment to see someone else, take something that I taught them and improve their life. But I think that is still self-centered to some extent, because I enjoy doing it, so I do it. People enjoy doing it, they receive it. I don't know if it is more like not like wanting to give, but it's just like overflowing, right? Like, okay, my life is good now, maybe I can make others' lives better.
I think for many influencers, it becomes like this, right? It becomes natural because they got those results because of whatever they followed, just like you did, and then you are giving it back to the society so that they can get results.
Yeah,
And, they can
and building that brand sometimes becomes the risk of them losing their creativity. Like, they say that whoever has got a Nobel Prize, after that their creativity is lost. Because until then they did it for the joy of doing it itself, not for the goal of getting a Nobel Prize. And once they get that identity, and the ego is satisfied that I got an identity, and the ego gets built up, hey, I'm a Nobel Prize winner, I think that identity itself prevents them from doing work which they enjoy, which might lead to more inventions and things like that. So anytime somebody tries to give me a label, a certificate or prize or award, I'm like, boss, don't do it. It will impact my creativity. I think A.R. Rahman does that whenever he gets like an award or something. He said like, everything is for God. It's because of God that I have been able to do. And that is one way of trying to shed off. People will try to come and apply it on you.
Right.
That, and then they will try to make you to like hold that also. Then it becomes a burden. That identity is a jail. It's a burden.
Right.
People develop certain expectations of you and it becomes static, but you are not static beings. You are like dynamic. 5 years down the line, I might be completely different. I might like shut down digital marketing and do something else in my life. I want the freedom to do it.
Right.
And trying to become known as a certain identity kind of becomes like a prison, because now you have to carry on that identity, because people have a respectability for you, people have honor for you, people see you in a certain way, and then for that you have to pay the price. You have to remain that way.
Right.
To benefit. So don't benefit from it. Don't think of anything positive. It doesn't like really change your mental state, health or anything if people give you an award. It's just an ego boost. And if you try to want that ego boost more, you will get trapped inside that and it will affect your freedom. So for me, freedom is very important. So I try to resist that. So even when you say that, oh, you are a humble person, you are a very nice person, I mean, like, no. I might be like a bad person also. Who knows? You have to see my other side. So yeah, I think that has definitely helped a lot with my business. And I think it might not be very easy for people to even understand what I am saying to become that, because as soon as I say something like this, they will resist it. And who is they? Their ego will resist it because it's a threat to their own identity.
Right. Yeah.
So
I think it's a conscious effort people have to put.
so a lot of people who are watching this, some people who are a little bit spiritually inclined might understand, oh, I think this guy makes sense. But a majority of the people whose self-identity is their own ego, they will feel threatened with what I am saying. They will be like, "Arey, kya baat kar raha hai ye?" He's like foolish and stupid. So this is not for the majority. What I am saying, this is for the minority.
This is something which is deep and I think very profound as well. Whatever you are speaking here, right? And while we are concluding this episode, right, a lot of people I know are following Digital Deepak and want to become the future Digital Deepaks, right? What is the message that you have for these people?
Keep writing. I think that's where the central foundation of it is. Write blogs, write emails. As you keep writing, your thoughts will become clear. Writing is a way to think. Because when you're thinking, it's all chaotic inside your mind. When you write, it becomes clearer thinking. And people will listen to you only if you have a clear thought. And writing is the best way to do it. So if you keep writing, everything will fall in place.
Great. Thank you for that. And thanks everyone for watching us. And thank you, Deepak, for being here on Dream Career Talk Show, because it's again an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
And it was a wonderful episode.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for hosting me. And I look forward to seeing this video being published and people gaining from this content.
Sure. Definitely.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.